Good morning, Red Sea, and welcome into the morning scramble where we got a bit of the Monday blues here after the Cardinals suffered their first loss of the season. Now, before we get into that, let's do a little roll call. Lisa Matthews, Kyle Odegard, Jody Jackson, and Felipe Corral here with you. There's lots to chew on in this loss. The Lions came in hungry, guys, and the Cardinals lost 26-23. And Kyle, it was a bit of a deja vu there late in the fourth when it was tied up, but they had every opportunity to win this game. What were your major takeaways after this one?
Yeah, it certainly seemed like a game where the Cardinals were the better team. You look at it statistically, and in most of the major categories, they won. Obviously, the turnover battle, they lost pretty badly, 3-0. That was the big key. And then down the stretch, in a close game, it's whoever's going to make the big plays late. And the Cardinals weren't able to connect on their last offensive drive, and the Lions were.
Yeah. I know you're able to take away some things watching the game a little late, but what were just some of your major takeaways from this?
Yeah, actually, when I rewatched it, the thing that stood out to me were just those opportunities, in the fourth quarter, but also, you have to look at the whole game and say there were opportunities early too. And while the defense faltered in those late moments, in fact, the defense has been very good on third down, but 3 of their third down conversions, they were only 4 of 12, the Lions, but 3 of them came in that fourth quarter and start hitting the tight end. I think Galladay was the other receiver on one. So late, they faltered there in an area where they were pretty good all day. The other thing that stood out to me was the fact that, reading quotes from the Lions this morning, talking about how up-tempo the Cardinals offense was and how gassed they were. Again, that could have actually affected the Cardinals late in the game, but it just struck me that the opportunity was so there for them to take this game, because as much as the Lions defense does deserve credit, they continued fighting. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins caught the ball 10 times. They managed to tackle him and not let him get loose and find the end zone. Isabella did twice and Murray did, but this Lions defense was fighting despite the fact that they were tired, but the Cardinals had them tired. They're going to have teams tired. I think maybe looking at how that affected the Cardinals late in the game, if at all, and just keeping that up, that's a positive. That's a real positive going forward, that you can do that to teams. They unfortunately didn't have it turn into a win in this game. But Felipe, what about you? What were your big takeaways?
So the Cardinals had 4 sacks, and none of them came by the name of Chandler Jones. So that's always a positive sign. You have Jordan Phillips, the newcomer, getting a sack. Corey Peters with this dance that I try to emulate, after the game and when I'm out dancing and stuff like that. So that's always a positive sign for this defense. Obviously, that secondary has a lot of room for improvement, especially, Patrick Peterson. Come on, bro. We got to play better, but it's week 3. There's still tons of games left, so we'll see. Lisa?
Felipe, I need to see that dance. You can't just say you do it out in the club and not here for us on the Scramble. Come on.
I know. Can you go wide angle on that laptop or what?
Can you do slow-mo?
I'll go viral on TikTok, don't worry.
Well, we will be waiting for that. Now, there were a lot of, splashes and good points to this game that we'll get later into. But right now, it's a segment that, here we go. Oh, hold up. We got a little flavor from Peters right now on our screen. We can emulate.
Before the pandemic, this is what I was doing out, on Mill Avenue, Old Town Plaza. This is
like a full body roll. That's every inch.
And when people see that, I'm pretty sure no one wants to dance with me. I mean, that's not popular.
Was that the tactic for keeping people out of the bars during the pandemic, or?
Yeah, that's a socially safe dance, I would say. He keeps it all here, so that's fine. All right, it's time to bring in a segment that, it's not something that we enjoy around here, but it's that bites. It's a point of the game that simply bites. Kyle, you're up first.
Yeah, Corey Peters is never going to be that bites, because that dance is definitely amazing. I think the thing that stood out in this game was clearly Kyler Murray's 3 interceptions, and he almost had a 4th that was dropped by a safety. So just, the first one off Dan Arnold's hands, hard to blame Kyler Murray for that. But, a misread when he was trying to get the ball to Larry Fitzgerald, and then he threw it behind DeAndre Hopkins for the third one. Overall, he didn't show this too much last year where he didn't throw many interceptions at all. He had a long streak where he didn't even throw one as a rookie. But this season, they're already piling up a bit, and Kyler Murray just has to make sure he's not turning the ball over that much moving forward. He's clearly a very talented player, but even if you're the better team, as we saw, if you turn the ball over a lot, if you throw interceptions, it's going to be hard to win. Jody, what's your that's bites?
Well, that bites, and I'll kind of circle in on Larry Fitzgerald and the fact that he was targeted 3 times, only had 1 catch for 0 yards. But it's actually about more than just Larry Fitzgerald. It's about the choices, the targets in the fourth quarter, late in the game, that might have affected, and also earlier events, how they affected those choices and maybe, what Kyler Murray was seeing. But look, I do agree in general, as does Cliff Kingsbury. He said it very plainly after the game that he felt that he needed to do a better job getting Larry Fitzgerald involved in the game plan. And I think everyone would agree with that. I have to wonder, the one interception that was headed for Fitz, maybe did that affect Kyler and his ability? And I tried to force a couple balls his way and it didn't work out. And I think the other thing, though, is when you look at Keyshawn Johnson being targeted, I believe it was 3 times late in the game. And he had a couple nice catches earlier in the game. I think he was targeted 7 or 8 times. I mean, and that's definitely a connection that we want to see grow. And, might be, and DeAndre, obviously 10 catches. So that connection is already there. So there's a lot of positives with who Kyler is targeting and connecting with, but it didn't happen in the fourth quarter. And again, I hate to dismiss the first 3 quarters, but you see opportunities later and say, what could you have done differently? What plays what could have been made? Andy Isabella was open on that play to Johnson where he was in double coverage. So they're going to dissect all of that. But I do think that Kingsbury it seemed like he was being pretty honest in his assessment of trying to get Larry more involved in the game. And I think we all would agree that that's a good thing. So Felipe, what about you? What bites for you after this loss to the Lions?
With 1:58, I believe, in the fourth quarter, coming out of that 2-minute warning, and you have the Lions in the 2nd and 15, 2nd and long, basically. You have them in a good spot, and Byron Murphy picks up the defensive pass interference. And, it's a situation where, again, year long, you want to get the ball back into Kyler Murray's hand. You want to give him a chance to win the game or put Zane Gonzalez in a position to, win you the game as well. But you can't have those mental errors in that part of the game. You want the ball back. It's the turning point, in my opinion, of that game. And, it's kind of a reflection, in my opinion, of that secondary throughout the whole game. I mean, you have 3 different receivers on the line side with 50 yards or more. You gave up 6 receptions of 18-plus yards. And, you give Matt Stafford a chance under 2 minutes to get into rhythm with that defensive pass interference to, recoup, get on the same page with his receivers. And you saw, shortly after, in those last 2 minutes, Kenny Golladay with the 11-yard reception, and then Marvin Jones with the 20-yard reception to put the Lions into field goal range and ultimately win the game. So that secondary needs to improve, especially if Budda Baker's going to miss some time with that thumb injury. Lisa?
Yeah, that's really unfortunate having him miss possibly next week, and we should see how that transpires going forward. Now, that's actually, Felipe, going off what you're saying, that's what bites for me. The fact that the Cardinals didn't have a chance late in the game to at least even just set up a field goal. They never let the Lions defense never let Cardinals get back on the field, and that's tough to watch, especially for, I'm sure, Kyler Murray and the guys on the bench just sitting there watching this transpire. They start on their 9-yard line with 4 minutes and 49 seconds left, and we're able to cap it off with that 49-yard field goal. A 39-yard field goal. So just not having the opportunity to close it out. But as Corey Peters said, Felipe, it's a loss that they earned. So when you talk about the penalty with Byron Murphy, these are all things that were showing up in the past 2 weeks, these little mistakes. And I feel like when you're a good team, and they're almost there, I feel like when you're a good team, those errors will come back to bite you, but you're able to overcome them, and they weren't able to do so. So I feel like this little taste of adversity is good for this team, but it's unfortunate that they didn't have the opportunity to close it out. You kept seeing them almost grab hold of this game, and then the Lions would come back. It's like they were waiting for the Lions to do what they've been doing the past 11 games because they haven't won since October, and that's blow the lead or blow the opportunity to win here. So it was unfortunate to see, but there still were some bright spots in this game. So I don't want to harp on all the bad because, hey, this is still a team that there's a lot to look forward to. It's time to get into our Rise and Shine players of the game. And Kyle, you're up first. Who you got?
I didn't forget my paper this time, so
Good.
I'm 2 for 3 now.
Here we go.
Buda Baker is my Rise and Shine, and he had a nice game, but more so, like you guys touched on, the fact that he's out there, he's playing with a thumb injury that he needed surgery on basically right after the game, and he obviously decided, hey, I'm going to play in this one because the Lions have a really good passing offense. They have a really good quarterback. I feel like my team needs me out there. And for him to go out there and do what he does, and he had a couple of big-time tackles. He had a big pass breakup where he almost got an interception. He's just such a linchpin on the back end and playing secondary. I think he's just this safety valve for the Cardinals, where if they have issues stopping the run, Buda Baker's coming in there like a missile and keeping it to a 7-yard gain instead of 25. Or if there's an issue in the passing game, he's able to clean a lot of things up. And now we're going to see what it's like without Buda Baker, like you said, Lisa, for at least a week. And the hope is that he's back in 2 weeks. But without Buda Baker, what will this secondary look like, and how many issues does he solve because he's such a good player? And I don't think he gets the credit he deserves league-wide, and hopefully the Cardinals don't feel this absence too much. And Jody, who's your player?
I too remembered my paper this week,
DeAndre
Hopkins. Once again, a great game, 10 catches, 137 yards, and it continues to amaze me that early on and out of the gate in game one, he had 14 catches, a career high. This chemistry between Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins is so wonderful to see. It's going to pay dividends all season long. It didn't equal a win on Sunday, but that really doesn't diminish how important it is to have this number one receiver to go to. He makes it look easy. Kyler finds him. He gets open. He was still open a ton yesterday, which also amazes me. And he catches everything that comes his way. He also made a nice adjustment on a ball that was over on the sideline. The fact that he adjusts to the ball when it's not right on target is tremendous. And so this is definitely another very bright spot in the game, that didn't end in a win. But to continue to see DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray do what they do, it's a lot of fun. And I know, fantasy fans are enjoying that as well with Hopkins, I'm sure, because he continues to have these big games, and he's my Rise and Shine player. How about you, Felipe? Who do you have?
I'm gonna go with Andy Edelman. Oh, my bad, Andy. My guy. And you know what? I didn't put that much effort this week because y'all let me.
Pretty good.
I was petty. I was like, I'm just gonna, write down whatever. But Andy Isabella continues to show up when he's given the opportunity. In his presser, he said, you never know when your next opportunity is going to come. And his opportunity was yesterday with Christian Kirk out for the game with the hamstring injury. Career high in receptions, 47 yards. His longest reception was 26 yards. So you continue to see him be a deep threat. You continue to see him, make plays in the slot. You saw that catch over the shoulder that he had from Kyler Murray. So it's one of my favorite players in the NFL because, we work for the Cardinals, so we get to see a little bit more behind the scenes type of things. And Andy Isabella in the kitchen, on his playbook, in the locker room when we're able to go in there, on his playbook, on his tablet, on the sideline, on his tablet. So he's constantly learning. He's constantly trying to get better. And, hopefully we continue to see more more action from Andy Isabella, more targets, more receptions, and he has a bright future.
I just love the confidence he's showing with the spiking of the ball, or he does like a little flex after a good catch. I mean, it's something that we have been touching on, just how much his confidence has grown. Kyle, you wrote a great article, just how he's really stepped up now to this opportunity.
Yeah, he's definitely a much more confident player, and I think that's important. Where he felt like when he got drafted, he was just going to come in and have a lot of success, and then it didn't happen. I think he got down on himself, and he heard some criticism maybe for the first time, where there were a lot of people questioning whether he could do it. And I think he's in a good headspace now. He's had the ability. He's the fastest guy on the team, and he's improved with his route running. So I think a lot of good stuff is ahead for Andy Isabella.
All right, guys, don't forget me. I feel like we always forget my rise and shine. It's the last one, but I'm going to go with my guy, linebacker Devon Kennard, going up against his former team. Of course, he was a former Lion, and I know he was eager to put that sack on Matthew Stafford, so he was looking forward to it all week. He had a tackle for loss in this one, 2 quarterback hits. He just proves and solidifies what he can do for this defense. I know he was really contemplating what he wanted to do post-sack celebration. So I'm glad to see he just went with it there. No dance moves like Peters, but he's a true, Sam linebacker for Vance Joseph in this defense. And I love to see him step up and have an opportunity. Obviously, at the end of the day, they care about wins, and unfortunate that they weren't able to get it done in this game. But Jody, you're going to bring home the bacon here. It's the first taste of adversity for this team. How do they move forward?
I forgot to actually cook the bacon to bring it home to all of you. But this is the first taste of adversity, and we wondered how they were going to do with it. And you can't avoid adversity in the National Football League. So here it is after week 3, and that's okay. I think for me, there's 3 big keys to this. Number 1, remain confident. I mean, you did a lot of good things. This team did a lot of good things. Kyler Murray had a bad game. That is a reality. He is probably not going to throw 3. Really, it was 4 interceptions in a game. Again, hopefully this year. I mean, he will throw picks here and there. That's just part of life in the NFL. But remain confident in the things that you did do well, and you didn't close this game out. Learn from the mistakes. Again, a lot of that from Kyler. I'm sure the coaches will evaluate, but every single player will look in the mirror, learn from those mistakes. And then turn the tables. Turn the tables next week in Carolina. You're going to go on a 3-game road trip. And so that's going to be obviously very different, but every season has a stretch like that. And hopefully they handle it well and even maybe embrace the reality of going on the road as road warriors and coming home with some victories. But the other thing that is a wild card here is the safety situation. Kyle talked about it with Buddha. How long is he going to be out? Hopefully it is just 1 week, but you never know. And they're getting a little thin there with the injuries we saw with Salbanjo. What's his status going to be? Tony Jefferson had a cryptic message out there this morning. So we'll see how that evolves over the week. As a former Cardinal, we all know him well. And, I honestly couldn't evaluate him right now. I think the Cardinals are going to do that. So as a player, but as a guy who knows the other players on the team, like a Patrick Peterson, he's a guy that can do that. So that's the one X factor. They know they have to shore that up, whether it's with players they have on the team right now. They'll be more prepared for sure going in, knowing who you have and don't have. But I think the overall theme is remain confident, keep that up-tempo offense going. You'll wear teams out, and you'll be able to kind of, how I put it, like turn the tables on teams, grab a hold of it, like you said, Lisa, in the 4th quarter or early in the game. Do it early in the game. And kind of keep your foot on the gas pedal. And that's what I hope for the Cardinals heading forward the next few games.
Yeah, Jody, like you said, up next is the Carolina Panthers. We're beginning this 3-week road stretch. Carolina, the Jets, and then Monday Night Showdown against the Cowboys. So, Kyle, they have some opportunities here to rebound and really get back on track. What are you expecting to see from them in these next 3 weeks going forward?
I think in these next 2 games, they have more talent than the Panthers and the Jets. And the nice thing is, yeah, you're on the road and you have to take the flight, but you're not playing in hostile stadiums anymore because there aren't fans or there are limited fans. And I heard Aaron Rodgers talking about that last night when they played the Saints in the Superdome, when usually it'd be so loud you can't even hear anything. And the Packers caught a break and won that game. And the Cardinals have to embrace this a little bit, like Jody said, and going on the road, knowing it's not going to be as hard as a usual road game. And if they can win 2 out of 3, I think everybody would feel pretty good about where they are after that stretch. But that's easier said than done. Obviously, people also thought the Cardinals were going to win against Detroit, and it didn't happen. So they do have to play the games. But I still think from a personnel and talent standpoint, this team has the potential to push for the playoffs, push for double-digit victories. This is a speed bump, but overall, I don't think there should be any big-time worries quite yet.
All right, everyone. Time to get more coffee. We have a long week ahead, right?
Absolutely. And we have some news coming in that Jefferson is coming in for a workout report out there.
Yep, he has been in the Valley rehabbing, working out. So that's something that we'll have our eyes on. Excited to see that. Did you get a text, Jody? Look at that.
Jody's breaking news on Morning Scramble.
We have our producer checking in here on the chat.
Really?
Technology from Jacob. Yeah.
Look at that. Yep.
And I did kind of hear that earlier today. I wasn't sure how official that was, but apparently.
Tony, come home. All right, everyone. You have a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining us right here on Facebook and YouTube. Remember to subscribe to stay up to date with all of your Cardinals content. We will see you next week.